finally got our act together and our diaries sort of coordinated, and here we are in Sotogrande, and it's a miserable, cloudy day
in July.
in July. What is going on? So anyway, so look, we're just going to show it how it is. We are going to give you the best overview of Sotogrande that we can possibly provide, based on all our knowledge and whatever of the last God knows how many years selling properties here. We're on our way to the school. That's why we've just seen the school buses pass. That's a good starting point, and we're hoping that by the time we've finished, the sun will have come out.
So why are we starting at the school? What's the relevance of the school?
Well, the school is probably the best on the coast, the whole of the Costa del Sol. Best private school. It's got a very good reputation for all sorts of different things. We have a lot of inquiries from clients who are sending their kids to this school, Sotogrande International School, and their property purchase is kind of off the back of this, so they want something nearby, blah blah blah. But I mean, there are 5 or 6 really good quality international schools from all the way from Mias Costa, I would say, or Benalmádena, all the way along the coast to here.
Torremolinos as well.
Torremolinos as well, don't forget it. But this one has got a really good reputation. So we're going to go there just to point out kind of where it is, and then we're going to start our tour from there. And then we're going to explore I call it the 4 corners, let's say the 4 quarters of Sotogrande. The school is this on the right, coming up. This is the start of it, and it goes all the way up around the corner. So here we are outside the Sotogrande International School, one of, if not the best private international school on the Costa del Sol. And as you can see, lots of parking, it's very easy to access, so great to drop off and pick up kids. And it's just got a really great reputation. There's 5 or 6 other schools along the coast that also have a great reputation, but this one particularly seems to be right at the top of the list at the moment in terms of parents choosing where to send their kids. The only difficulty is, of course, is that it's in Sotogrande, which means that if you're committing to the school here, you need to commit to the environment here and find somewhere to live. There's not too many, although there's not too many families who have kids in this school and commute from Marbella, because although it's not that far, it's maybe 40 minutes, 45 minutes, that every day, twice a day, starts to take its toll. So most families will look around this area for a place to base themselves. So we're leaving the bottom of the kind of La Reserva quarter, and now we're going across the road into what I would call the Valderrama and Almenara quarter of Sotogrande. So you'll see this is a very common feature of all around Sotogrande, is that you have security at all the key points, which is nice. It's fairly soft security because obviously they're public roads, but they do monitor everything and make sure that there's no funny business going on, and all the avenues are all wide. A lot of them are palm trees lining the avenues, but you have to remember where Sotogrande kind of started from. It was the dream and the concept of an American guy. So he's created something that, when you get Americans here, they say, oh wow, okay, yeah, this reminds me of such and such and such and such in the States. It feels like a gated, protected 5-star resort, which is kind of what it is. So a lot of people say, there's no authenticity to it, it's a little bit man-made. Yes, it is. All those things are true, but it also appeals to a lot of people to have this kind of setup. You can see it feels quieter, it feels safe, it feels luxurious and exclusive, I think. But obviously it hasn't got an Andalusian old town or anything like that. It's just not that kind of place. It's a more modern, recently built kind of project. The Almenara golf course on the right. This is the link road, I suppose, between the school and the hotel. And the hotel's interesting because over the last sort of 5 or 10 years, when we've been very active in this area, the one thing that Sotogrande has always lacked has been a really good quality hotel. It's always had the Almenara Hotel, the NH
up here, but it didn't have a good spa, it didn't have a good reputation. It was a bit 4-star, you know. And when you're selling villas and properties at multi-million euro levels, you kind of feel that the missing piece really is to have a beautiful 5-star spa hotel on the doorstep, and now it's got that. So the new hotel, it's basically the old hotel has been completely redeveloped. It's now called the So Sottogrande Hotel, which is run by Sofitel. It's a proper 5-star, lots of bars and restaurants, beautiful world-class spa, and that is just up here. We're being told to stop because they're cutting the palm trees by the looks of it. Yeah, and interestingly, you might be aware that we were invited to be the project advisors for La Reserva Sottogrande a few years ago now, when they were developing their first multi-family residence, Village Verde, and I suggested that they put together a sort of PR campaign based on Sottogrande itself, about the lifestyle here, and the catchphrase that I used was "So Sottogrande." So all the kind of messages were "So Sottogrande, so Sottogrande," and I went to the chief exec and said, "This is my idea," and he just laughed. And it's the first time anyone's laughed at a proposal. And he said that it's a really good idea, but unfortunately we can't use that slogan because that's going to be the name of the hotel. But it wasn't public knowledge at the time, of course. When I come down to Sottogrande, you just get this feeling of space. And you know, the only thing I would say is that for some people there might not be enough going on and enough of a buzz, but for a lot of people who've got buzzy lives, this is like this is perfect. Okay, so we have just left the So Sottogrande Hotel, and we're kind of just driving through the avenues of the Valderrama and Almenara section of Sottogrande. So there's 4 distinct quarters to Sottogrande. People describe it in different ways, but I think it's easy to describe it in 4 distinct quarters. The one that most people know is the marina itself, which we're going to go and have a look at. Then there is the area known as Kings and Queens, which is the area to the side of the marina. It's quite flat. And then the other side of the highway, which is where we are now, there's Valderrama Almenara, which is home to the hotel. And then the 4th quarter, which is the one that's kind of being developed, so it's the newest kid on the block, is La Reserva Sottogrande. And yeah, if you look at Sottogrande in those 4 areas, then it's easy to navigate, it's easy to get to know where you like and where you don't like. In terms of golf, there's the course down near the coast, which is the Real Club de Golf, and then you've obviously got Valderrama, which is a totally private members course, which is where they've recently had the Andalusian Open, and then you have Almenara, and you also have the La Reserva Sottogrande course as well. So you've got 4 really good quality golf courses, some of the best in Spain, if not Europe, right on your doorstep. So for people who love their golf, this is a fantastic place to base yourself. Also within spitting distance, you've got San Roque Golf, which is just up the road, Alcadesa, which is a links course, one of the very few links courses on the coast. And then as you head obviously towards Marbella the other way, then you've got lots, probably 20, 30 courses to choose from. But to have 4 on your doorstep is a real boon for most keen golfers.
Mostly villas, right?
It's mostly villas, and that's one of the problems that we're having actually, is that there's very little new apartment supply to fulfill demand, because not everybody wants a villa. Even people who are putting kids in a local school, you'd think they'd want the garden and the pool, but a lot of these families, they still want the lock up and leave, and they still want the security element that's provided normally by communal living. And although there are older blocks of apartments and there are apartments in the marina, they don't normally offer the size, sort of 150, 200 square meters plus that a lot of families need. So it is still very much a villa market, and that's why, you know, there's only been one new build apartment development, which is Village Verde in La Reserva Sotogrande, and despite a fairly slow start due to COVID, that's now flown. You know, they're selling. They can't keep up with the demand, and I'm not surprised, because that's the product that people are after. You know, a secure complex of luxury apartments with on-site amenities, 24-hour security, but big living spaces. So as a family of 3 or 4, no problem at all. So we need more of that type of thing, really. And although getting permissions from the town hall is San Roque here, is not difficult. Yeah, it still takes time, and it still takes a bit of bureaucracy to get things moving. So we're counting the straw hats today, guys, because I've always been a little bit outspoken about Sotogrande, haven't I? Saying that, you know, if you love golf, horses and boats, you know, if you like wearing your deck shoes and putting your jumper around your shoulders and all that, this is heaven. But I've also been known to say that you go to Sotogrande to die. And you know what? I'm being really unfair, because Sotogrande is a great place. It's not for everyone, just like Marbella and Porto Banús is not for everyone. But it is unfair for me to say that you go to Sotogrande to die.
But it's July. This should be like anywhere else on the coast. This is going to be rammed with cars, right?
Yeah.
Look at it. It looks like a Sunday in November or something.
Do you know what? You're absolutely right what you say, and that's how I feel. I say to people, I feel that you can breathe down here. There's space. My argument has always been, is there enough to do? And that's obviously a personal thing, isn't it? You know, do people want to go shopping every day? No, I guess they don't. I mean, I love Marbella, I love Sotogrande, I love Marbella, but I can't get parked anywhere near the Puente Romano at the moment. So if I want to go and have a cheeky little lunch at Rachel's or Delicioso or something, I'm not talking anything extravagant, I can't park. But if you're into horses, the polo here is world class. I mean, it attracts royalty. I had a client the other day, a polo player from some far-flung place in the world, and you know, it's fascinating. I've never been into horse, never been into polo, but it's quite an event down here. You know, it really is. And then of course the boating, you know, the yachting and all those sorts of things. Anyone who's into water sports and particularly nice boats, this is the place. Yeah, you're not going to have your Gucci outlet down here, and you're not going to have your bling bling. It's very understated.
2 straw hats, ding ding.
Straw hat, yeah, is that them? Oh, 4, number 4, 3 and 4 there, brilliant. So it's a bit like that. It's gentrified. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to have anyone down here, you know, with blingy tops on and stuff like that. It's understated elegance, and it's like you say, maybe a bit of old money, but it's like I said in another video we did. It's in Sotogrande, the mask comes down, and you can be who you want to be. You can wander around, have a jog, go on a cycle. No one really cares who you are and what you're worth. I know. So here we are, and now we're by the sea. So we've been inland, felt like a forest and golf courses, and here we're now down in Kings and Queens. So this is the golf course, beautiful golf course down here, and you've got beach clubs and restaurants and cafes all along the beach. And then in a minute, we're going to come into the marina. So you've kind of got everything you want, apart from the shops. So here you go, Real Club de Golf Sotogrande, old school, elegant. And this is the flat bit that I mentioned. You know, it's obviously flat because it's nearer the coast, and this is the area called Kings and Queens because of the fact that all the avenues are named after monarchs. But you've got some really nice facilities here. And everything is well tended, well kept. I mean, we've seen, just on our little drive so far, we've seen 5 or 6 load of workmen, haven't we? Making things nice and trimming trees. I sometimes come down here and think, this is a little secret, isn't it? It's a little kind of, you know, because it's that extra leg to get to, it's that extra half-hour drive, isn't it? People think, oh, I can't be bothered. But actually, I think they're missing out, because it is rather lovely. But in a way, you don't want them to come down here, because then it will lose its quiet sort of charm. Yeah.
I guess here what you have is It's far enough from Malaga Airport to be a distance. It's not a cab ride, really, is it?
No.
But it is near to Gibraltar, though.
Very close to Gibraltar.
25 minutes or something like that?
Yeah, if that. So if anyone can fly into Gibraltar, there's a lot of flights from the UK, from London particularly, into Gibraltar, and it works very well for them. But also there's a different type of client that we get that works in Gibraltar, but doesn't want to live in Gibraltar, because living in Gibraltar is not easy from a number of points, but particularly from a housing stock point of view. You're pretty confined to apartment living in Gibraltar. So people who have families who work in Gib, commute there every day, they would rather have a family home here and just jump across the border when they need to. So we've just kind of skimming the bottom section of Kings and Queens, and we're coming into the area that I would classify as the marina. So obviously it's not just the marina that you see on the water, but the surrounding environs. We cross this bridge here, which takes us over the river that flows out into the sea, the Rio Guadiaro. And we see the first of these kind of
Apartments. No?
very distinctive looking apartments, actually. Have you been into the marina before? Oh, you've said for a meeting.
For a meeting, was in and out.
Yeah, because you can go in and out and miss it all. The nice thing about the marina, I think, is that the building, the construction, is all around the same theme, really. You can see that it all looks similar. So you haven't got that something that's very hard to the eye sometimes, where you've got lots of different types of construction and people have tried different things. This is fairly uniform, and I think it works. It works really well. So we're just going to drive around the sort of perimeter, and then we're going to go in and have a look slightly, well, just a little bit more inside the marina. And the marina's great. You know, some of these apartments, the ground floor apartments, they come with options of being able to moor your boat at the bottom of your garden, which is very unusual. You know, so to have an apartment and a berth for your boat is fantastic if that's what you're into, rather than having to buy a big villa on the sea.
So for investment value, would these be good for that?
Depends what you mean by investment, whether you're looking at sort of future capital growth or whether you're looking at rental income, because you have to look at the fact that it is quieter than Marbella, so there's not as much footfall, so there's not as much demand for holiday rentals here, I would say. There is demand, but not as much. So will you fill these places in the winter, for instance? Probably not as much as if you had a place near Marbella, because there's more things to do in the winter. That's when your shopping kicks in and stuff like that. So I think the investment value here would be piggybacking the long-term value of the properties as we move forward, really. We had a client who bought here last year, and it was actually a nice story. They holidayed in Sotogrande many years ago, and he learned to sail here. And so it just had fond memories, and they came back and they loved it again. And we found them something actually with the most extraordinary views. I'll post a picture of it on this video, and they're really, really happy with their place. It's along here somewhere, and it is breathtaking. You know, you sit there on the terrace and you can just see everything going on in the marina, and it's you can just walk downstairs and you've got 10 different restaurants. It's a nice lifestyle, very, very nice lifestyle. And he's a keen sailor, and they love it.
They don't look particularly new. Are there any new developments here in the marina?
The newest was the pier, which was developed by Taylor Wimpey, and that's actually on the left-hand side of this road. But again, that sold very, very quickly. So yeah, most of these are between 10 and 20 years old. And because it's a limited amount of land around the marina, those are all, you know, they're all sold. So resales are available, but obviously they can't build any more land directly around the marina. But this is the pier on the left here. Little limerick. So yeah, so the pier is here on the left, and also the block in front, the white block in front, which was the most expensive block because that actually is
right
on the water.
Gotcha.
But very lovely, and from there you actually get amazing views. You've got this road that cuts through it, but it's not a busy road. But that's the most recent build, and you know, you'd have to guess that some of this land on the left that isn't frontline water will be developed at some point in the future, but then are you going to get the views? I can see the reason why Taylor Wimpey built there, because you've got the views through the other blocks. Here you don't really get that, so you've got to be careful, because the whole attraction, the whole draw of really living in the marina is to have at least a view of the water, if not being frontline. Now we're going to try and park here.
So we're going to cruise down the Nile for half an hour, yeah?
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh my goodness, this sounds a bit exotic for me.
Go on.
So here we are. We're on a boat and we're in Sotogrande Marina. So we were doing a little carpool, as you know we do, me and Alfredo, and we thought, forget the car, let's do the boat instead. We saw this little opportunity to take a half-hour guided tour with Anna to show us the sights of Sotogrande Marina, and here we are. We're doing it. So we're heading out. Are we heading out to the ocean? I think it's just the marina itself, the canal. Do I look like I belong on a boat? I don't get out on boats very often. Alfredo, what have we got? Where have we gone wrong in life? Here we are on a little that is what we're missing out on. Have you not got the contacts anymore? Come on, I thought you were a connected guy, you know? So this is the kind of front bit of Sotogrande. This is the wider marina where you've got a lot of the big boats. The bit we showed you at the back where we got onto this is where the little boats are moored. But these are the serious boats, yachts. What do you call them? Yachts? Tell you what though, I could get quite used to this. Maybe we need a little boat, little Cloud9 boat. I'm not talking anything extravagant. Like this, be perfect. How much are boats? Tell you what though, there's some nice ones. We were in Puerto Banús, weren't we, the other night, and we saw a few amazing boats, but there's some very nice ones here. So this is the main kind of frontal hub of the marina. Oh, if you look behind you, Alfredo, you'll see the pier, the white building at the back. Yeah, it's a bit like me in the story of the Porsche. With the jet ski, I kind of thought about it, and by the time I actually wanted to do it, too old. Should we do the sailor's wave? No response. So we're just coming up to the newest built development here in Sotogrande Marina, which is called Pier, which was developed by Taylor Wimpey, the well-known British house builder. And they actually got a piece of land that isn't directly Frontline Marina, but because of where it's located, it has all the views that you would get with being Frontline Marina. And that is a beautiful development of apartments and penthouses. We've sold, I think, 3 or 4 in there. There's one block actually on the right-hand side as you look at it now that is directly on the water's edge, but the others are just set back slightly. But again, great views. Clients are very happy in there. And that's the latest new build. There's nothing else, because as you can see around you, everything is consolidated. It's been built in the last 10 or 20 years. So this was the last bit of land really that was able to be built on. We're not expecting there to be much more coming to market. So it's going to be very much a resale market in the marina, if that's where you want to be. And of course, there's a finite number of units here because you can't build more marina. So yeah, it's a resale market, and it's a buoyant resale market. And yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want a piece of this, I guess? Could I live here? I don't think there's enough for me here, but I totally get it. I totally get the appeal. Imagine you've got a busy job in, say, the UK, and you come out here for a weekend or a week. It's a bit better than Salford Marina, isn't it? Or if there is is there a Salford Marina? It's Canary Wharf, it's nice. But this is, as I've always said, if you like boats, and you like your golf, and you like your horses, this as the best place in the world, I reckon. I could be tempted.
What I do like about the houses down here, there's a lot of different types, but I love the colonial ones. You know, that's a nice hedge, Alfredo.
Don't have to say.
Alfredo is taking some lovely footage of a hedge as I'm trying to explain about the houses. So yeah, I like the colonial ones. You know, with the shutters, I think it's very Sotogrande.
So Sotogrande.
So Sotogrande.
There's no houses.
I like to use that. There's loads of houses. You're just pointing the bloody thing the wrong way. Oh, there's a plot there. Get on that.
Go on, explain what we're seeing.
What we're seeing? Oh, from yours.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know where you're pointing it.
that way.
Well, that's a
what
modern looking house, isn't it? Right, I think I have been in that house. I think. Yes, very nice house. And then there's a plot next door. You could build your dream villa if it's available for sale, of course.
see no houses.
Well, that's because they're all posh and they're behind big gates.
Big fences.
Yeah.
Hedges.
I need to get you to La Reserve. Oh, look at this one. This is a big one, isn't it? With a marble. What's it? Oh God, where are we going? Oh, I think it's this one. Let's go down here because I want to show you something. I'll show you something. So a little bit of commercial activity on the left, a little bit of estate agency going on, a few little things, architects and a dentist, Andy. Yeah, a few things there. But the main sort of commercial centre for Sotogrande is down, coming up down the bottom, which I'll show you now.
Specific. Would you ever bring a buyer here that hasn't specifically requested Sotogrande?
Well, if we're out with a client and we just get a feel for what they're like as a couple or a family or single, whatever, and we think Sotogrande would be a great option for them, then we'll start talking about it. And then if they say, yeah, I wouldn't mind a look, then yes. We wouldn't just kidnap them and bring them down.
Right.
Well,
and,
one or two of our staff might.
and when you bring them here, do they not really notice the distance as much, or do you find that they are a little surprised at just how far away?
Some do, some don't.
Right.
You know, some
Makes-
people, for instance, who know Marbella and like it, they will be a little bit put off by this, the distance. But this is the main supermarket for Sotogrande. So this is the El Corte Inglés Supermercado, which is quite a big one. And on the left, which you obviously can't see, there's more stuff. But you've got quite a lot of bars and restaurants in this commercial area as well. But I mean, you wouldn't come here for an afternoon shopping. You know, it's not that kind of place. You would need to use Mercadona as well, which is great. So for those who, you know, don't want to do the Corte Inglés experience, you can pay 30% less and go to Mercadona. So yeah, I mean, you could do a big shop here, absolutely no problem, like a weekly shop. But if you wanted to go and have lunch and walk around designer clothes shops for 2 or 3 hours, no, this is not the place. You need to go to Puerto Banús or Marbella for that. So we are going to show you the what we call the fourth quarter of Sotogrande, which is La Reserva, which is the area that's under the most development because it's a fairly new area of Sotogrande. We've seen the marina, we've seen Kings and Queens, Valderrama and Almenara, the hotel, the school. But this is kind of the fourth bit of Sotogrande, and it's worthy of closer inspection on its own because it's a big, vast resort with lots going for it. And we're just about to pull in to the main entrance now.
This ahead of us is Village Verde, the development.
Exactly. So where you see those green cranes, that's the apartment development of Village Verde, which is the only, I would say, the only real exclusive apartment development in Sotogrande at the moment. So on the left-hand side is Village Verde as it looks now. You can see that the first phase is pretty much completed and about to be handed over. So the gardens are going in at the moment, the pools are all being filled. Very beautiful. They launched their show home there a couple of months ago now, and they're cracking on with the second phase. We had a client who bought a magnificent, dramatic sky villa there, which is like a 2-story duplex penthouse, but as big as a villa, really.
It's quite fun to see it built because
Because you had we were instructed by the bosses at Sotogrande to help them scope out the project really, and so it's nice to see it coming to fruition. In front of us we have the first development that was built here in La Reserva, which is Los Cortijos, which are townhouses, semi-detached villas, which are very pretty, very Andalusian, very nice. So that is probably the starting point in terms of entry-level price-wise to the resort. And this resort goes on, and you know, we can look at the remaining bits of it, although a lot of it is just left over to plots and development land, and it goes down towards the school eventually. So we'll take a little trip down there, and then we'll head back to the clubhouse and we'll show you the beach, which sounds weird because we're in a golf resort, but they have a man-made beach set up there, which is a real attraction, and we'll show you why in just a minute. So coming up on the right, where you see this white wall, is a development called La Finca de Sotogrande. I think there's one left in there. They are townhouses. They were not developed by the Sotogrande people, developed by a separate developer. It's just, although it's within the boundaries of La Reserva, it doesn't form part of the resort. It's a separate community which overlooks the little golf course there. But you can see how much land there is, Alfredo.
Yeah, it's.
So you'll see the odd villa dotted around on the left-hand side on the hillside where the crane is. That's where they have the 15 and the 7. So you have 15 plots on the second lowest point of the hillside, all big plots where you can build amazing villas. And then on the top, on the sort of crest of the hill, you've got 7 plots, even bigger, where you can develop some amazing projects. And what they've done with the 7 is they've gone out to 7 of the leading architectural firms in the world and asked their leading architects to come up with a design for each plot. Some of them are absolutely astonishing, all very different, but an incredible kind of blueprint to work with. Some of them, you know, if you wanted that finished design, you're talking about maybe, including the plot, probably 15-20 million euros. But wow, what a house and what a statement you would have. But a lot of this land is up for development, so this is going to be a long-term, you know, 5, 10, 15-year project to develop this resort in its entirety, I would imagine. Land here is still priced decently, particularly compared to some areas of Marbella in which you would build a similarly priced villa. So it's you know, a lot of investors have come down here in the last couple of years looking for land banking and opportunities. But it's going to be interesting to see how this all unfolds over the next, as I say, the next decade really. For those wanting to build a house, this is a perfect opportunity. And also, literally at the end of this road, about 2 minutes more driving, you come to the Sotogrande International School. So you can see how it all kind of links up now. And nothing's too far. It's like you said off air. You know, it's not a massive place. There's lots of land and there's lots of space, but it's fairly easy to navigate, isn't it?
Yeah. There's quite a well-known architecture studio that's actually based here, isn't there, in Sotogrande?
Yeah,
Arc.
Yeah,
Architects.
Yeah, so they know all the plots here. They're very good to work with. They tend to build in quite a modern, contemporary style, and yeah, a lot of the houses that you see, particularly in La Reserva, have probably been designed by Arc.
So here we are, one of the many viewpoints within the La Reserva Sotogrande resort. It's a little bit hazy, well, very hazy today, so we can't really see the sea, but it's there, trust me. But what it does give you is an idea of how much land there is. Okay, we can see some bits that have been developed, but really when you take the whole thing into perspective, there's a lot of land still to be developed. So we came in, you might just be able to see the white buildings in the middle distance. On the left is Senda Chica, which is built out now. On the right is Village Verde. And then you can see the plot for phase 2 of Village Verde that's being built on at the moment. So we came in the main security entrance for La Reserva there. And then we came around the whole perimeter of the resort really here. But in the foreground, we've got the clubhouse and we've got the driving range, which you can see. Beyond that, we've got Los Cortijos, which are the Andalusian townhouses and little villas. And then you'll probably be able to see this expanse of water here, which is actually the beach. So this is La Reserva's very own beach club. and it's a sandy bottomed lagoon. It's a sports lagoon, but also a swimming area. So you do, when you're there, you feel like you're on the beach, and there's restaurant, bars, things for kids. It's a great day out. And then as you swing around, all this is countryside that some of it will be developed in the future. And where we're parked is actually just at the foot of the plots for the 15. So there's 2 areas that are specifically designed for very expensive, lavish villas. One is called the 7, which is on top of this, 7 big plots. And then this is a run down on the mountain, and this is called the 15. So 15 big plots where you can build your dream home. They're building one at the moment here in front of us, which looks like it's got a marble facade, which I'm sure will be amazing when it's all done. But yeah, there's land here to develop. There's opportunities here to build your dream home. There's more land, probably slightly better value for money than you'll find in Marbella, if you can find land in Marbella. So this is why investors and also people who want to do a plot and build are being drawn to Sottogrande, because there are more opportunities.
And what we're going to do now is we're just going to come down the hill and go through the main entrance into La Reserva, so we can check out the clubhouse and also the beach. So this electric car, because I brought the electric car out today, so this instant surge, have you noticed it, or have I driven very calmly today?
Very calmly.
I have, haven't I? I'm in Sottogrande mode.
Yeah. But there's nothing either side, is it? It's just...
No, I know.
And they have lampposts. Funny, they've got lampposts all along.
But this is what they do in Spain, isn't it? Certainly down here, they put the infrastructure in first.
Yeah.
So they put the roads in, they put the lamps in, they put the pavements in, but then they just wait for the plots to sell. And this is what's happening here, isn't it? So at least the good thing is, if you do build a house here, everything's done, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not like one of those stories you hear about waiting for the road for 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Everything is done. Your water, electricity is all connected. Everything, you're just ready to go. So
There is one thing about Sottogrande is infamous for,
go on.
that we haven't mentioned, is normally, not so much today,
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
mega windy.
Yes, it's because obviously we're on the almost coming around now to the Atlantic coast, aren't we? So I think you do get more wind. So here we are. We're coming into the entrance to the clubhouse area, really, which is the heart of the La Reserva resort. You've got the Corticos townhouses and little villas up there, which are very cute. And then on the left. And then on the right, we've got the beach. Can't really see it at the moment, but we're going to do a little section overlooking the beach. And we are coming up to the clubhouse, which you'll just be able to see there.
Okay, so here we are at the beautiful Cortico style clubhouse at La Reserva Club in Sottogrande. One of my favourite places for a little coffee or a bite to eat. Let's come on in and see what's going on. Nice and elegant, isn't it? So this is what I was explaining earlier. This is one of the villas that you can have on the plots at the 7. And if you come and take a look at the design, I think this is the Gamuccian Villa, who's an architect based in London. It's got, I think, 4 or 5 different wings to the home, which are incredible. People, when they look at this, they think, oh, is this 4 different houses? No, this is the whole thing. And then in here we have the restaurant and bar. Hola, buenas. It's a good job I saw the rope, otherwise I'd go head first. So this is the access to the putting green and the driving range. On the hillside there, you can see a villa being built. That's one of the 15 villas, which occupies a magnificent plot looking all the way down over the beach and the golf course and the clubhouse. But it's a very well kept golf course. It's beautiful, very well manicured. A lot of professionals enjoy playing here. Fancy a game? Okay, so this is the beach at La Reserva Sottogrande, and when you actually get down there, because it's they've imported all this sand and it's a sandy bottom lagoon, so it does feel like you are at the beach. It's got a beautiful restaurant, bar, it's got a kids area, it's safe obviously for swimming, it's got all sorts of non-motorised water sports in the lagoon that you see in the background. So it's just got everything. There's ice cream vans for kids, there's hot dog stands. It's just got something for everybody. There's also an adults only swimming pool as well, which we can't see, it's just behind the restaurant. But what they did when they built this was they wanted it to be the first sandy bottomed lagoon. So not just a plastic tub like you get at some places, but they actually wanted it to feel authentic with sand all the way. And that's what they did. I won't even get into the detail of how they did this because it involved moving streams and goodness knows what. And everyone said, you're mad, why are you doing it? But they did it, and it's one of the top attractions probably on the Costa del Sol at the moment. I've always fancied a jet ski. Have you ever been on a jet ski? Maybe we should get a jet ski.
I've been on a banana boat.
Did you get tossed off? Oops, excuse me.